Yes, I know what? Today we're gonna watch a video called 11 Things Not to Do in Japan. And as a Japanese, I'm gonna react to the video and share my honest opinion about it. So guys, let's get started. Okay, are you guys ready? 3, 2, 1, start.
Japan has a rich and complex culture that make it a favorite travel destination of many, but it also makes the country really easy for tourists to embarrass themselves in. Here are 11 things that you should absolutely not do while in Japan. Number 1. Don't tip. Tipping is not a part of Japanese culture, and someone will probably come running after you with your money if you do. Now in some restaurants you'll see a vending machine where you just insert your money and you choose whatever food item you want, so there's actually no waiter that you could tip. Either way, don't leave a tip because it's actually considered insulting to the waiter. Number 2.
Yeah, this is true. Actually, one of my friends worked at a Japanese traditional style hotel as a part-time job, and he got some tips using his good communication skills. But this case is pretty rare and we usually don't tip in Japan. I don't think we take it like insulting, but we'll just get confused because we basically don't have a tipping system in our culture, and usually we don't have rules for tipping like where we put the money or who can get the tips. I've heard like at some restaurants or hotels in Japan, it's even banned for the workers to get tips from the customers. So in Japan, if you feel the service is good, I recommend you just give the words arigato or arigatou gozaimasu with smiling instead of the tip. That's how I do.
Cover your tattoos. Tattoos in Japan are generally associated with criminals and yakuza. Because of this, tattoos are frowned upon in Japanese society, and most pools and bathhouses bar anyone with a tattoo from entering.
Right, yeah.
Number 3.
Yeah, true. Getting tattooed is kind of abnormal in Japan, and like the video says, bad people, including criminals in Japanese mafias called yakuza, tend to have tattoos. That's why lots of Japanese people feel scared, and most public bathing places don't accept tattooed people. Actually, I think we Japanese people have been getting used to tattoos gradually, knowing that many people in other countries have them just for fashion, but still many don't have good images about tattoos. And I'm also still a bit afraid of them unconsciously, even though I sometimes feel like they're kind of art and some of my non-Japanese friends have tattoos. So if you want to make Japanese friends, maybe it's better to hide your tattoos until you get along well with them.
Don't hand cash to cashiers. Now this may seem like a contradictory statement, but in Japan, almost every convenience store will use a tray that you're supposed to place the money on. This is used out of convenience so that the coins don't fall everywhere, and also so that everyone can see exactly what's happening with the money at all times.
Because of coronavirus, we have to use the trays nowadays, but I don't think this is a not to do thing. I mean, before the virus spread, we sometimes used to hand the cash to the cashier. When I paid at convenience stores, shops, or restaurants, sometimes the cashiers even used to put their hands so I could hand the cash. In my opinion, I don't think you need to care about this thing so much.
Number 4. Japanese-only restaurants. Now this may seem kinda crazy, but some Japanese restaurants will not allow any foreigners into their establishments. That is because while the Japanese can be very friendly and welcoming, there are some aspects of their culture that make them a little xenophobic. There's really no way to tell whether or not a restaurant is Japanese only, but you'll know pretty quickly as soon as you walk in. Usually what happens is a waiter will wave his or her hands no, you'll be told to leave, or any combination of those.
No way. What? I don't believe this. What? I've never heard about this. Is that because I'm a Japanese and I couldn't notice that? Anyways, seems like he had a bad experience and I'm really sorry for him. If there are such restaurants, I personally don't like that idea, and I really don't like how they refuse non-Japanese customers. I mean, waving their hands and telling the customers to leave. Plus, I'm just wondering how they do judge. I mean, what if the customer looks like a Japanese but from another country, or looks like from another country but born and raised in Japan? Do they refuse? Anyways, even if there is such restaurants, it must be quite rare to encounter them, and I'm pretty sure there are tons of much better restaurants. So guys, don't worry, seriously.
Number 5. Don't talk on trains. The volume of your voice is extremely important in Japan, as everyone is hyper aware and very respectful that they share their space with others. That means talking loudly or speaking on the phone in trains is a definite no, and you should avoid it as best you can.
I agree, yeah.
Number 6.
The Japanese like to keep harmony, and many of them dislike the people talking loudly in the trains because the trains in Japan are usually quiet and loud voices destroy the harmony. It's okay to chat with your friends in the trains, but never loudly. If you do that, I'm sure you will get much attention and many people glance at you. Some of them would even stare at you. Actually, we keep quiet not only in the trains, but also in almost all of public closed areas, like in other public transportations, elevators, saunas, etc. So in Japan, if you don't know how to behave in public areas, keeping quiet is the best way to avoid some troubles.
Proper chopstick use. This is a big one because chopsticks are used to eat almost everything in Japan. The main things not to do with your chopsticks are not to eat directly from common dishes, always take the food and put it on your plate first and then eat it, don't point chopsticks at people as is considered very rude, don't cross them and don't leave them sticking out of a rice bowl as that is part of funeral ceremonies, and don't rub your chopsticks together after you break them apart because that's rude and disrespectful to the chef by assuming he purchases poor quality chopsticks.
Yeah, true. We put the food on our plate first and then eat it. No matter how small the food is, we think it's manners. Plus, chopsticks are used at Japanese funeral ceremonies. Crossing the chopsticks, we pass the bones of dead person after the person is burned. And leaving chopsticks sticking out of a rice bowl means offering the food for the dead person. So, if I see chopsticks used like them, first I think of the funerals and I feel bad. We don't do those things in our daily lives. By the way, like the video says, we Japanese people tend to eat so many dishes with chopsticks because they are very useful. I think for some of you guys who usually don't use them in your country, chopsticks are really difficult to use. But the thing is that we also couldn't use chopsticks well at first, and I also practiced it when I was a child. So if you are struggling with using chopsticks well, don't give it up, and I wish you a happy chopsticks life.
Number 7. Don't wear shoes in the house. Like most people, the Japanese don't want the dirt from outside getting in the house. They take it one step further though and provide slippers and shoe cubbies at the front door. Even some restaurants will ask customers to take their shoes off before coming inside.
Yeah, sometimes, Yeah, in Japan, you definitely have to take your shoes off at the houses and sometimes at Japanese restaurants like izakaya. Besides the houses and izakaya, at the hospitals, schools, temples, or Japanese hotels like ryokan, you often need to take your shoes off as well. Usually, there should be the signs or shoe boxes where you have to do that, just so you know.
Number 8. Drinking etiquette. This is a big one if you go out with any Japanese while in Japan. There are subtle rituals that show respect towards the person you're drinking with. The first is whenever you receive a drink, always receive it with 2 hands to show respect towards the person pouring. Also, never pour your own drink first as it's considered selfish. You should pour others' drinks and then put the bottle down and someone else will take it up and pour your drink for you. If you're not trying to get absolutely hammered, make sure that when you're done, you leave your drink full. Because the way it works is whenever someone sees an empty glass, they'll just immediately pour you another one. Things can get crazy pretty quickly if you're not careful.
Kind of true. There's some manners for drinking in Japan. We receive a drink with 2 hands, which shows your respect and gratitude for the person. And we do that as well, like when we receive some gifts from other people. And sometimes it's said that you should take care of other people's glasses, and if they're empty, you should pour the drink or ask the person and order the next drink for him or her. But actually, I feel like some of those manners have been getting kind of old-fashioned, and some people, especially young people, don't like them because it's, a bit troublesome. Plus, I don't think you have to care about those rules so much when you drink with your close friends. At least I don't. Following those manners, maybe Japanese people around you think you're polite, but being polite means there's a kind of distance between the person and you. And sometimes your friends might even feel uncomfortable with that. So I think it's nice if you're trying to follow the Japanese manners and trying to be polite. But when you drink with your Japanese friends, you don't have to be too polite and just relax and have much fun.
Number 9. How not to eat sushi. Fish have been the central part of the Japanese diet for centuries, and they've developed tons of different ways to better enjoy the fish. So it's not a bad idea to get to know some of them. The first mistake that most people make is ordering a bunch of sushi at once, instead of a little bit at a time, which they recommend. It's because the temperature of the fish actually matters, and you're supposed to eat it as soon as it comes onto your plate. That's why you sit right at the bar in most sushi places in Japan. The next big mistake that people make is dunking the rice directly into the soy sauce, which makes it absorb way too much. The correct way to do it, if you're going to do it at all, is to flip the fish over so that just the backside of the fish touches the soy sauce. This allows the soy sauce to enhance the flavor of the fish, but without drowning it out.
To tell the truth, I didn't know the reason why we sit right at the bar, but actually that makes sense. As for the manners, they are true, and I think we should follow them, especially at fancy sushi restaurants. But I can really understand why some people dunk the sushi into the soy sauce. It just tastes amazing, even though you can't feel the flavor of fish so much. I also used to do that often when I was a child, and that's why I used to need much water after eating sushi. Anyways, enjoy eating sushi!
Number 10. Don't expect to use your card. Japan is a cash-based society, and they're generally skeptical of credit cards. So almost every place that you'll visit will use cash. Don't worry though, because the 7-Eleven ATMs will work with any card and are open 24 hours a day. It's not unusual for Japanese businessmen to grab 30 or 40,000 yen before they leave the house. Like I said, everything here is done in cash.
Yeah, this is true, and it's better not to expect. Recently, shops and restaurants where you can use the cards or other payment methods than cash have been increasing a lot in Japan, and I sometimes don't have to bring cash with me. But still, at some places, you can't use credit cards, and actually, a half year ago, I tried to use the credit card at the restaurant, but it didn't accept the card, so I needed to dash to the nearest ATM in a convenience store. By the way, this picture says like there was an incident that with unauthorized use of credit cards, totally 1.8 billion was drawn by the criminal group of more than 100 people. This is the real incident, happened in 2016.
Last but not least, number 11. Receiving business cards. This is another good one if you plan on meeting people while in Japan. When exchanging business cards, always receive the card with 2 hands and study it carefully before putting it away. Don't shove it into your back pocket carelessly, as it may be interpreted as being rude. It's best to carefully place it into your wallet to show that you respect them and the business they work for. If you stuck around to the end of the video, thank you, it means a lot. Click on the video on the...
Oh, nice video. I think this business called culture has been getting old-fashioned year by year because many Japanese companies are going paperless, and also online business meetings are rapidly increased because of the virus. So we have much less opportunities to treat the business cards. But still, if you work in Japan, it's better to know somehow about this culture and don't treat the cards carelessly because the cards tend to be treated like the people themselves in Japan. Be careful. So guys, how were the video and my reaction? I think this video is great because it explains briefly but really well about Japan, and we can get to know the things of Japanese unique culture in a short time. Thank you for making such a wonderful video, Cal McKinley. Arigato! By the way, if you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you can also enjoy another video called 12 Things Not to Do in Japan, and I reacted to that video as well, so please check it out. Now, this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys had lots of fun. So, see you next time. Ja. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. In this channel, I'm gonna share some tips for you guys to live a holiday life in Japan, especially in Tokyo, and I'll upload at least one video on weekends every 2 weeks. Hope to see you guys soon in the next video. Sayonara!